Extra point seal hall is on the anterior midline on the glabella, directly between the medial ends of the eyebrows. Extra points for alert spirit are located in relation to Do20. They lay 1 cun anterior, posterior and lateral to Do20. Extra point fish waist is located in a depression in the centre of the eyebrow, directly superior to a pupil that's looking forwards. Palpate to find the nice dip. Extra point supreme yang is located half a cun posterior to the midpoint of a line joining the outer canthus and the lateral extremity of the eyebrow. Make an imaginary line, come halfway, move back half a cun until you're into this fleshy area which is lateral to the lateral orbital margin. To find extra point tip of the ear, fold the ear forward on itself and locate this point at the tip of the ear. Extra point penetrating the nose is at the highest point of the nasolabial groove. That's this groove that connects the nose to the lateral aspect of the mouth. Penetrating the nose is here. Extra point 100 taxations is 2 cun superior to Do14. We take the distance from Do14 to the posterior hairline as being 3 cun. So here we have 2 cun. It's 1 cun lateral to the posterior midline. You should remember that it's 4.5 cun from the posterior midline to the mastoid process. It's important to notice here that 1 cun laterally is much smaller than 1 cun vertically. This is your extra point. Extra point peaceful sleep is located halfway between Sanjiao 17, which is behind the earlobe, and gallbladder 20. It's just posterior and inferior to the mastoid process. Extra point adjacent to container of fluids is located 1 cun lateral to Ren 24. Ren 24, moving 1 cun lateral to find this extra point.
Stop wheezing. To locate this point, you need to find the inferior border of C7 and come lateral to it in a depression. So palpate where the bone is and come lateral, and it just falls into a natural depression by the side of it. This can vary from half a cun to 1 cun in distance away from the midline. To locate pancreas, find the inferior border of T8, come directly lateral to it, 1.5 cun lateral to the posterior midline. Lumbar eyes is level with L4, 3.5 cm lateral to the midline. This point must be on bone when you palpate it. Below the 17th vertebra is on the posterior midline, below the spinous process of L5. To find Huato points, find the inferior border of the spinous process, come lateral to it, and you fall naturally into a groove alongside each spinous process. Triangle of Moxibustion is on the abdomen. The triangle is formed by the length of the person's smile, with the top of the triangle being in the centre of the umbilicus. So I'm going to take the length of your smile. Can you smile for me? Going to the centre of the umbilicus. Looking at the centre, equilateral triangles are coming down. Palace of the womb is level with ren 3, 3 cm lateral to the midline. Lift and support is on the lower abdomen, level with ren 4, 4 cm lateral to the midline.
Ten drainings is found on the tip of all the fingers and the thumbs, one fen from the nail bed. It's important to realise that in the middle finger, this point is different to pericardium 9. Four seams are located on the palmar aspect of all four fingers, on the crease that covers the proximal interphalangeal joints. To bring these into relief, you may need to bend the finger very slightly.
Brachiaire, in between each of the heads of the metacarpal bones. I'm going to be marking the heads and forming an equilateral triangle proximal to the web of each finger, and coming to the middle of that triangle for my point. So my first one being there, my second one, my third one, the fourth one, just coming half sun in from the web margin, just in there. Lumbar pain points, they're on the dorsum of the hand, between the second and third and fourth and fifth metacarpal bones, just distal to their bases, so running your fingers down in between those bones and falling into two depressions just distal to the base. Stiff neck is on the dorsum of the hand in between the second and third metacarpal phalangeal joint, just proximal to that joint, so running my finger over, making sure I'm in between the bones. And popping my point in. Two whites is on the flexor aspect of the forearm, 4 sun proximal from the wrist crease, either side of that tendon of flexor carpi radialis. Elbow tip is at the tip of the electronom process of the ulna.
Extra point inner shoulder is located midway between large intestine 15 and the anterior axillary crease. The location of the crease itself can be misleading, so take the lower landmark as where pectoralis is attaching to the arm. Extra point eyes of the knee are located on either side of the patellar tendon, inferior to the inferior border of the patella. The most lateral of these 2 points is stomach 35, but together they're known as eyes of the knee. Extra point crane summit is found at the midpoint of the superior border of the patella. Extra point 100 insect burrow is located 1 sun superior to spleen 10. Spleen 10, 100 insect burrow. The appendix point is located on the right leg only, 2 sun inferior to stomach 36. Palpate for tenderness. The gallbladder extra point is located between 1 and 2 sun inferior to gallbladder 34 on the right leg only. Palpate down for a tender point. Extra point 8 wins are located half a sun proximal to the web margins between each toe, which means they include liver 2, stomach 44 and gallbladder 43.